Let them fix fuel and line. That's the reason why I'm brother. What happened? We are hungry.
Thank you so much. You have seen some pictures coming from the field, protest day 4, and as the protest enters day 4 in Nigeria, the protesters have continued to remain on the streets. And you saw some of the pictures there and some videos of that. Okay, you can even see this was in Abuja, I think so, somewhere in Abuja, where some of them tried to converge, but the presence of the security didn't allow that to happen. And on Saturday, it also happened that one of our video journalists was injured during the security operatives, some people call it attack on the protesters in the stadium. And I wonder why they have to attack them in stadium where they got a court order saying that they should confine themselves there. And our reporter was also attacked. We'll bring that report to you. I don't know if they have it, so that will lead us to our conversation tonight. Okay, we will bring that to you. But let's quickly let you know that we shall be examining the protest so far and the president's broadcast. And after that, we will also take a look at what will happen tomorrow. We have joining me in the studio is the president of the South community in the FCT is already joining us here in the studio. Dixie Omoyele, thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. And we have via Zoom is a lot of persons said is one of the mobilizers, but it's somebody who people called the freedom fighter that has gone through a lot to see Nigeria get better governance. Is also in the media, is also a journalist, and I have via Zoom Omoyele Sowore, the former presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. But let's begin with you. I'm sure you have listened, you have seen the president's speech and the broadcast, and a lot of Nigerians have been reacting. But President Bola Tinubu has called on the protesters on the street to henceforth stop whatever protest that they have, because according to him, his government has tried so much to ensure that Nigeria gets a stable economy. How can you react to that?
As you have seen or heard yourself, we were in possession of the speech some 8 hours before it was read this morning. So we had analyzed it and saw that about 38 points, and that was because it was itemized, and none of those items addressed any of the demands that were put forward. 15 of them, now 16 as we talk to you, none of them. So it felt like President Tinubu was still campaigning after election. So this just looks like his manifesto read all over again, and I think there's a complete disconnect between what was written for him and what is happening outside, and that's always the problem with leadership in Nigeria. People just take their citizens for granted, and then they come and read this long speeches that leads you to no solution at all. So what people are talking about hunger, they're talking about hiking food prices, they're talking about education, school fees, they're talking about detentions of people from NSAS, Nnamdi Kanu, we're talking about a new constitution, we're talking about a new minimum wage for workers. And all you can tell us is that, you have been doing some things that's supposed to bring prosperity that has actually increased poverty in the country. So I'm sure he had no idea probably what we wanted. Like somebody rightly said, I think this was generated via Chat GPT.
All right, but the president mentioned that the protest has led to the death of some Nigerians, some innocent Nigerians, and it will not be good for us to keep losing citizens in the country. So he's appealing and also urging the protesters to shift their sword and stop further protests because he is ready to move forward. Now, stopping the protests, can the people who are already on the streets hear to the president's call from what you have seen so far?
No, of course, protests have happened already today in Jos, in Lagos, parts of Abuja. The intention of the organizers was actually not to have a limited edition protest during the weekend so that people can get back and, refresh themselves a little bit. The next big date for the protest is tomorrow, and that has been announced. So the protest is not stopped. There was protest in Kano today. Even in places where they imposed curfew, people still went out, still came out and protested today. So the protest is not going to stop. That much I know. And people are gearing up across Nigeria to resume fully tomorrow, Monday, August 5. And just to inform you, August 5 is also the annual anniversary of Revolution Now, which is the protest. Most of the people organizing this protest are members of Take It Back Movement and Revolution Now that started in 2019, August 5. So tomorrow is the 5th anniversary of when we told Nigerians that we can't solve our problems without the revolution in this country. So, and that is happening and unfolding right in front of us now in some form.
So that means the Revolution Now people will also come out on the streets tomorrow. But are you not worried that the security operatives, because as of yesterday, one of our video journalists was injured, is at the hospital now. One of his leg was dislocated because they tried to gain access into the stadium, but the security officials came after them, shooting live bullets from his explanation, and also throwing tear gas at those who were trying to enter into the stadium. And if that is the case, that means they may also come out when these people come out. Aren't you worried about that?
This is the reason why the speech in itself, came flat. And, there's an oxymoron that used to be referred to as a beautiful nonsense, which is what I saw about this speech. You're not even you're talking about your journal. You're talking about Kano, where they killed over 20-something people yesterday. People were waving leaves. This was Kano, yesterday, Kuna part of Kano. So who are the people who are carrying out the killing? Security agencies. You're reading a speech, asking people for dialogue, and you're killing them. There are hundreds of people in detention illegally in Gombe, in Yobe, in Borno, Kano, as we speak, that have been arrested. Most of them, I can guarantee that none of them is even guilty of anything violent. And you see the opening speech of Tinubu, he was saying that there were violent protests. These protests were not violent. They were peaceful protests across the country. It was security agencies directed by his own people, the government, that introduced violence into these peaceful protests, like you mentioned in Abuja. And your journalists. The fact that they can't even allow journalists to do their lawful duties tells you that they don't have any good intentions towards Nigerians. So nobody is worried. We, the people of Nigeria, own this country. They are supposed to be our employees, and now that they have gone rogue on us, it is up to the Nigerian people to stand up to the bullies and ensure that they live a bully life free from this regime. You see, this is not happening from a person who was remorseful. You remember NSAS, they were the ones who orchestrated, organized NSAS, they were the ones who removed the cameras so that they would, in advance, remove evidence when they invited, they were the ones who invited soldiers to kill peaceful protesters at Lekki. It is that impunity that accompanied them to Abuja. So the speeches you are hearing today are just mere rhetorics that, that's just meant to fool people. And just to show to you that not all of them even agree on what they are doing, it's just shenanigans. The speech was leaked, hours before it was I know it was pre-recorded before it was read on TV. So it's unfortunate that our security agencies are doing this. The same police who come to us and say, "Oh, help us push our position on pension. We don't want to be in a pension system." They are the ones that they turn around and shoot people. The DSS, they brought a rogue unit yesterday to the stadium, the same stadium where they had a court order for people to converge, and people respectfully converged there. They brought rogue police, those combination of police, DSS, and non-state actors that they work with. They do this all the time in Abuja. They've attacked me several times with that same rogue unit. It's controlled by the office of the DSS at the Yellow House. They are the ones that came yesterday to the stadium to injure your journalists. And I'm shocked that the Nigerian Union of Journalists is not even saying anything. This is not the first time they started attacking journalists from day one. Even the chairman of the Abuja chapter of NUJ was humiliated and beaten up and rough-handled and his phone broken the first day. They have been after journalists since this started. The journalists are not doing anything about it. And the person who is after journalists himself, the president of Nigeria, owns a newspaper, he owns a TV station, several radio stations across Nigeria. So this tells you that they're just not interested in your well-being. They don't care, and they're going to do what they want to do anyways. So it's up to the Nigerian people to understand very clearly that they're at war, with the regime is at war against peaceful coexistence in the country. You also hear him read, that, he doesn't support ethnic bigotry. But his number one spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, is a well-known ethnic bigot, who hates other ethnicities. He has expressed it on Twitter. He talks down Igbo people. He doesn't like them. But he's your number one person. The Lagos PDR person that they're referring to, who said they want to chase Igbos out of Lagos, they work with the Lagos State governor. The Lagos State governor, as I have said repeatedly, they have not denied, they operate an office of xenophobia against people who they claim are known Lagosians, even though they themselves, if you look at their roots, they're not, originally from Lagos. But we're not here to discuss that. I don't care where people come from. I care about where they exist and where they pay their taxes, and nobody has a right to deny them of that space, to deny them of citizenship wherever they may find themselves and wherever they're getting their daily bread from. But this is why this speech is a joke.
So now the protest is now day 4, and can you say that it was successful? And where is it leading us to? Because if the president's speech, according to what you said, didn't address any of the demands of the protest, so that means even when they continue, how are you sure that the president will even yield to their demands at the end of the day?
Well, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But I can guarantee you that this is not the first time we've seen intransigent presidents in Nigeria. Even under military rule, they would come with their berets, they would come with epaulets, they would be threatening people. But we've seen a lot of them disgraced out of power as well. So these are some of their minions in civilian garb. But if you remember what happened in Kenya, the president of Kenya, his first reaction to the uprising in Kenya, the anti-finance bill, was to say that these guys are treasonous people, they want to do regime change, and that they are working with politicians And then eventually, when the struggle was intensified, he collapsed under the weight of people's will.
All right, I'll come back to you before we say a good night on the program tonight. But let's me quickly come to the studio. Like I said, we have in the studio here the president of the South community in the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, Dixon Omoyele. Thank you so much. It's been long. It was during the election that we had you on this program, isn't it?
You're right.
And you came here preaching peace, no violence, no that. Now, Nigerians are on the street again. It is like a reminiscence of what happened in 2020 during the EndSARS protest. The first day, it was very, very tough. Almost all the states in the nation, we saw people on the streets protesting, and the major cry is that the hunger in the land is too much. And they all called for the president to come out and speak. And the president came out today. He has spoken. And in speaking, he urged them to stay off the streets for now because people have died and it's not a good thing. So he, as a president, cannot fold his hands and watch Nigeria degenerate, especially from the word he used, for people who are taking advantage of the protest. The protest has political undertone, that's what the president said, and their demands are not something that can mean well to Nigeria. Can you say that the president actually addressed the main issue from his statement today?
Well, thank you very much. Before now, the president did not speak. Due to pressure and all other things, the president has spoken. And it is good that the president has spoken. The next is, what did he say? What he said, did he make meaning? Did he address the yearnings of the people? So that is what we should look. We begin to dissect it one after the other. I actually think that as a father of the nation, he needs to talk, and he has spoken. But the content of what he said, meaning, did not address the yearnings of his people. It's like the children came to the street and begging for food. Instead of giving them bread, he gave them tear gas. And some collected live bullets. It is not good enough. I think there are the managers of his office may not be helping. Because if you look at him with his age, with his experience, one should expect that he knows the plight of the people. But I'm sure there is a very high wall surrounding him. The high wall are those that are working with him. They may not be telling him the right thing. And if they are not telling him the right thing, he's not expected to do the right thing. For instance, some of those lawyer aides, those who are deliberately, how do I describe it? They want to play the role of being good, the good boys. They can just go to and say, Rankadidisa. In Edo State, they are saying you are doing very well. In Bauchi, they say, man, you are the best. So this may likely be what he's hearing. Whereas the reality on ground is different from what he's hearing.
But do you think President Bola Tinubu is that kind of a person?
But it is displayed.
Because I know that the president watches TV, not just his own channel, his own private channel. He watches and monitors other channels. The president that I know is that kind of a person.
Yes. He can watch television, and television will get interpretation. He has people that interpret things for him. You see, let us not shy away from it. You see, if you look at what is happening today, the president became the president today because the people voted for him. Why did the people vote for him? The people voted for him to have some solace, to live a good life. Therefore, if you are going to take any decision, consult the people that took you to power.
That's the people.
The people that brought you to power.
You
must hear from them. You will hear from them, even if what they are saying is bad. Listen to them so that they can have that sense of belonging. But if you say because you are the father, let me tell you, as a father today, I'm a parent. There is a way I push my child. He will resist me. Even my dog, the animals are... I saw TikTok recently this is a robot. The robot was trying to introduce something proper, and the owner of the robot was not complying. The robot provoked. So your children are bound to react when you are pushing them to what is unbearing. So today, if you look at the president, his address, we are community leaders by the grace of God, so we preach peace. We don't encourage violence. However, hunger, you see, there's a scripture in the Bible that says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. You may preach to somebody and tell him to calm down. He may say, okay, but when you are hungry, you cannot survive where you are. We have an adage that says that now hunger make toad come out from inside water. If the pond is wealthy, if this pond is rich, there's water, you won't see toad jumping out. But when the pond is dry, it will go out. Like people that you are seeing today, they are not willing to go out, but you see, there's nobody that can stay in a particular place and die. It's not possible. The person will even prefer to die like a hero or go and die on a bullet. Some people today may even prefer to say, okay, let them commit one offense so that they can be arrested. When they are arrested, two things will not be their benefits. The first thing is they will no longer be paid for accommodation. Two, the law enforcement or whoever, we're feeding them. There are people today who can no longer feed. People have become destitute in their own country. It's so bad. So many things today matters. But I think that the president ordinarily has good intention, but he's not being fed. He's not being told what to do. Let him come out. First of all, we want to congratulate him and thank him for coming out to talk. But many people are saying that what he said is unsatisfactory. Do you know that one of the ways to solve this problem is not even meeting, because he said that let them come for dialogue. No, it's good, it's good. However, there are things the president will say now. He doesn't need anybody that will dialogue with him. Everybody just share their song. But
the president is calling for dialogue.
Yes.
But initially they said they are faceless people who don't have leaders.
Yes.
They don't have leaders.
Yes.
And they are on the streets.
Yes.
So who does the president wants to dialogue with?
Yes. If today the president says they are faceless, it will make it easier for him. Because the aggravation, the process is about setting requests. We are hungry. There are so many people who were eating 3 times a day. Some can even eat once a day. So I will even recommend to the president that if you don't see who you are going to dialogue with, it makes it easier for you. Address the demands.
At least 1 or 2.
For instance, now, before now, if a liter of fuel was 170 naira. Now it is 800 naira.
People buy for 1,000 plus.
People, okay, in some areas. So it is, you see, then you are now asking that there are nobody for you to interface with. You don't need anybody to interface with. There are things that cause what happened. There are some people today now, they don't own AC any longer. Thank God this season is wet.
You're even saying that. I have a 3 horsepower AC, about 2, in my sitting room. I dare not put it on because I'm on band A.
Yes.
I dare not.
In my office, my ACs, they are decorations. You don't
I'm telling you.
So, you see, these are things. And okay, if you also look at it, before now, when you have no job, especially those are young men, most of them sit at home, begin to watch movie. You can't even pay.
That's the thing.
To subscribe is difficult. Then to pay for Band-Aid is difficult. Then even when there's no light, you cannot go and buy 4 liters and say, let me power my gen, better pass my neighbor. So there are so many things.
Better pass my neighbor, is it still in the market?
Yeah, I'm sure it's still there, but it consumes more. So if you want to burn it for about 5 hours, you should be able to spend about 5,000 naira. So you know what that means.
Sure.
And these are people who do not work. You see, I continue to say it. As one of the leaders, the president, I should expect him to try beyond what he's doing. If you look at the students' loan, good initiative, but however, the implementation is wrong. How can you say a student today that is in school will go and take loan? Meaning he's building debt where he's not even sure getting employment.
After the school.
After the school.
That's lifetime debts.
So you can see that there are so many, the intentions may be okay, but the implementations are not okay. And I will use this opportunity also. We look at the what do you call it, the security agencies. Their wife goes to market. There are some food I was eating well before now. Now, most of those food I see it on television, I can't even afford them any longer. It's bad. There are people today, you will see, they will be well-dressed, some will be on fine suit. They are walking the streets. You will think they are going to the next house. Some are going to 2 kilometers. If you search them, they are having 100 naira, 200 naira, which can even afford along. Is so bad. So what the president for coming, we have to dog our cap for him. He has tried for coming because many people thought he will not come. But for coming, he has come, and kudos to him. Let his advisors, let those who are with him advise him more. You know, presentation also matters. And well, we thank God that has been my profession, diplomacy. There are ways you talk to people. Right there and then, they'll start hailing you. Nigerians are the most obedient people you can imagine all over the world. Just give them assured hope. Give them a little assistance. They will be very, very happy.
But from what the president said,
yes,
he said his government has been trying, even while they removed subsidy, some of the proceeds from subsidy, they have sent it to states, at least to cushion the effects of subsidy removal. So the question now is, what are the people, the government in the subnational doing? People are calling on the president. What have they done? You talked about somebody getting loan now and hoping that he will pay after school. And with hopelessness, the hopelessness of him graduating is that he may not even get a job. The percentage of jobless young Nigerians are very, very high today. They are on the increase. And if government is saying, okay, take loan, conclude your education, where is the job after education for him to pay the loan? That's another question which you asked. So if this is it, and these people on the street are saying they will come out again tomorrow, would that not be a challenge to the president?
Yes. Before I respond to that, the funny thing is that these people today, the president and other head of governments, these are people, while they were in school, they receive grants.
They had free education in
some
their days.
scholarship.
Free education.
Now, it would have been proper and appropriate for you to reciprocate what this government has done for you by extending it to the younger ones to also benefit from grants or scholarship. I hope we will get there. So what we are saying is this. The people are willing to stay at home. The protesters, they are willing to stay at home. But it is hunger that will push them out.
Exactly. So let's quickly go and I told you earlier that some of the mobilizers of the protests, the End Bad Governance protests in Nigeria, addressed the media today, especially in the FCT, despite what has happened in the FCT and the attack on them, canisters and straight live bullets used on the protesters. They have also said they will remain on the streets. Let's listen to them.
And this is not a task. This is not a task for just activist lawyers. We are calling on the NBA, which is the professional body of lawyers in Nigeria. The lawyers will have nothing else to defend by the time Tinubu tears apart the Nigerian constitution. If there is nothing to defend anymore, then the lawyers have no job to do again. The people will sort out their differences on the streets, and it will be chaos. And so we are appealing to the NBA, which is the professional body of lawyers, to join in this struggle and ensure that across the country, everybody, alongside the activist lawyers who are already taking up this issue, across the country, we get all protesters and detained Nigerians released. We are also appealing, because what we have heard recently is that the Inspector General of Police instructed hospitals that if there's anyone with a gunshot wound, they should report to the police first. This is something that's created crisis in this country last year, in Abuja, when someone was not treated because the doctors were waiting for a police report, the same police came and said it is no longer necessary, that doctors can start treating people. But because the protest is going on, they brought in that policy again and are asking that if there is anyone with gunshot wound, the doctors should report to the police before they are treated. That only means that the police is preparing to shoot protesters and ensure that they don't get treatment until they are dead.
Well, that's the mobilizers are saying, despite what the president has said today, they will remain on the streets. So they are mobilizing heavily on Monday and waiting for whatever action will come. And well, these are their words, but we must ensure that there is peace in Nigeria. Is a number one thing that all of us must ensure. Yes, we are fighting and we're asking governments to hear to our demands, but we also remember that we need to have a life to enjoy that demands. There are those who are ready to say, anyway, they have said it, that they left home. I listened to a lady on the social media. They said, I left the house and I told my family, if I don't return back, just know that I died a martyr. So I will be remembered for fighting for the just cause of the hungry Nigeria on the streets, who remain on the streets for 1 to 10 days. So let's also take a walk to Jos, the Plateau State, that I also initially announced, that though the president came out earlier in the day to give his speech and to also urge protesters to shift their sword, that he is ready to work with them through dialogue. But these protesters in Jos, the Plateau State capital, did not even, probably some of them didn't even watch the president's speech, but they went on the streets, the venue of their convergence, held interdenominational service, just like they did on Friday, where they had the Jumat prayer on that same venue. And today, they were there singing praises, dancing, and also crying, the government, please answer us. We are hungry.
Duniya duka yadda muke taruwa nan, kowane hankali a duniya ya koma a kanmu. Na ji tsoro mutanen Plateau, kusa abin da ya bani tsoro, wai ana ganin cewa za ku yi siya sai kun kawo sallama. Ana zaton wuta a makera.
Just the Plateau State capital there, and you heard them speaking in Hausa, and what they said is that they will continue to remain on the streets until President Bola Ahmed Tinubu hear to their demands, that they do not want their effort to be in vain. So that's what they are saying. What they started 4 days ago, they cannot stop it now, because the president is yet to even answer to one of their demands. So they will remain on the streets, and they are praying that God will give them life to continue where they are without even going home until President Bola Ahmed Tinubu deems it fit to answer to them. Yes, before I go to Sowore, because our time is always gone, you've seen what I was telling you, that these protesters are ready to shun the president and continue to be on the streets. So what now, as a peace builder and an expert in diplomacy, How do you, what will you, how do you see this?
Yes, I will recommend that we should shun protest, because protest will not, if it goes sway, it will not bring about good healthiness, because many will be injured and many can also lose their lives. So there's no way we can recommend a protest. What we are seeing is that the president has spoken. We are expecting him to talk more.
Talk more.
To talk more. Because the president must continue to talk. If at all he doesn't want to talk, he has the appropriate persons to speak for him. What is he going to say? He has to say, he has to be promissory. If he's promising...
Is it the time that the people will accept promissories? What they are waiting for? Like I told one of them that was on the program, the mobilizer, I asked the question, what do you want the president to do so you can go off the street? He said if it's fuel alone and food prices, we will leave the streets.
Yes.
But the same president during his campaigns made a statement that if you like, protest from today to tomorrow, subsidy will go and I will win. He has won the election. He has removed subsidy and the protests have started. And today he spoke. He didn't even speak to that, but he told you that the subsidy he removed, these are the things we are doing with them. Explaining what his government has done so far. That what his government is doing is going to be a long-term benefit for Nigeria, and he's not ready to stop them today.
Yes. It is good. I have to emphasize on it again. We have to stop the protest. Protest is not okay. It will not be good. It is not good for us. It's not good for us today. It is not good for us tomorrow, because it may lead to disaster. It may lead to burning of houses and many other things. Now, the president said he has done well. Let us look at among the things he has done. He has sent palliatives.
Which palliative?
Many bags of rice. That's what he said.
How many? 20,000 to a state?
Yes. Whether big or small, he has
in
sent.
your community, are there no more than 20,000?
Yes, I want to explain that. Yeah. So, with what the president has sent, if you really want to share it, 6 persons to 1 module of rice. 1 module of rice? Yes.
That's a good explanation.
And if, for example, now, we live in city center, and there's somebody from Gwagwalada wants to travel to come and collect his module of rice, he may end up spending 3,000 or 4,000 naira to come to the city center.
Which is enough to buy it.
For 6 of them to share 1 module of rice. So, you see, there are some things that are in place that are so funny.
All right, we'll come back to you, Chief. Let's go back to Sowore so that we can quickly... Yes, thank you so much for remaining with us, comrade.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate. You have seen the people, because our reporter just came back from where they went for the briefing, and they made an explanation that the police gave an order that anybody with gunshot wounds should not be treated at this season. And they are ready to remain on the streets because the president did not yield to their demands. But at this time, and with the reality before us, is it right for us to continue this protest?
Well, we're not. The question is it's not if it is right. The question is how long we need to sustain the protest for. And this is day 4. Nobody thought in the first place, by the way, that the protest will even kick off. You saw the antics, the propaganda. Even to the last minute, they issued a statement saying that take it back and cancel it. They did all kinds of things. So this protest has already started, and it started successfully across the country. I have not, in a long time, if at all, seen a protest in which the North and the South is on the same accord on the social political issues in Nigeria. And the North is even like way ahead of the South. And I've also not seen a lot of times where protests in the northern part of the country has been as peaceful as we've seen it now. So there's going to be more protests. There's going to be more starting from tomorrow. There's a declaration for a 10-day period of protesting, and we are day 4 of that. Tomorrow will be day 5. And tomorrow is also our own special anniversary for revolution now. So let everybody understand that. We have called on, we have reached out to some of the professional bodies. The NMA, Nigerian Medical Association, have a duty to call all their members not to respect any illegal order, not to treat somebody in distress. It's against their hypocritic oaths as medical doctors. We've called on the Nigerian bar station. It's claimed to set up a pro bono human rights team. We can't find them anywhere. But there are young lawyers who have set up legal teams across the country. We are calling on, we've been having conversation with even the NFC that this is a time for the NFC to come out and support the Nigerian people, because anytime they go on strike, we support them. I was in their last protest in Abuja. ASU, that's the lecturers in our universities, we're surprised that they are quiet, because when they go on strike, we enjoy it. We help them force government to listen to them. So they should also join. The universities shouldn't be quiet this time around, because it's about their future. I think our diplomat community leader said it. His diplomacy is very apt, by the way, because he's telling the truth on one side and playing diplomacy on the other side, which is that's his own diplomacy is actually known as a gunboat diplomacy. They will be shooting you, and at the same time saying that it's all right. Anyways, so it's important that everybody in Nigeria is informed and well advised to understand that this will continue. It's going to grow bigger. More people and more places and more spaces are going to join. We expect people to sit at home tomorrow. There are plans by organizers to tell airlines not to fly tomorrow, both into the country and within Nigeria, so that we don't have to deal with air safety issues. So we have a lot of things to tell Nigerians. We who are working on this together. I am just very happy and privileged to be experiencing this history in Nigeria of when people are coming together as a united force to bring about a different trajectory for governance in the country.
Okay, but
it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, sorry.
But with regards to the security agencies, yes, you mentioned them. Let them know, anybody that's helping to kill Nigerians at this time, they are taking a loan. And I'm serious about it. They know it themselves. Some of them may not pay for it now. They will pay for it at the time they are weak and retired. And you can look at all the chief of army staffs in Nigeria who were killing on behalf of people where they are today, including the last one, who is running helter-skelter from pillar to post now because he's wanted for international crimes. The police, how most of the police IGs ended in Nigeria when they are strong and, powerful and influential. They can kill anybody, but then see how so many of them are ending. And so if you're killing on behalf of anybody, on behalf of politicians, you are taking a loan, you pay back someday. But most importantly, let me also chime in here that the protesters in the FCT are going to call for the removal of the CP of FCT, Bennett Igwe, Wike himself, who is the minister of FCT, because we have found out that they are conniving to kill and injure people and harass people. The IG of police, we have asked them to allow him to retire, to go on early retirement. He has a month to go. He cannot continue. And ultimately, and this is very important, this is the last thing I'll say before I leave, if Tinubu himself starts to feel invincible, he will understand that the Nigerian people in their large numbers can ease him out of power. And this is not to threaten regime change, but it's to tell you where Nigerians are at this time, that they are no longer afraid of death, because hunger, poverty, multidimensional poverty, insecurity for a lot of people is death.
All right, but can you guarantee safety of the protesters? Because for what we have seen before now, and how they've been engaging the security operatives, it may not be safe for young Nigerians. Don't you think so? Can you guarantee their safety?
Nobody who is protesting now, and you are covering it yourself, and your reporters have become victims of it, is engaging in any unsafe activity. Nobody is violent. This is a non-violent protest. It has been established. Even they themselves are saying it, that these people are conducting themselves very well. So it is not our job to guarantee the safety of protesters, but it's our job to guarantee the safety of our future. And that's more important than our immediate safety now.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for joining us on the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore there. And let's quickly go to bring you a report of how our photojournalist has become a victim of the battle between operatives and the protesters. This happened on Saturday, and these are photojournalists. He's still in the hospital, and we're just praying that the fraction he got on his leg will heal fast so that he can return to us. Let's see the report.
Please, stadium, see them. Inside stadium, see, Nigeria is a check. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? See what they're doing to us right now. Inside stadium, tell us what we have to protect. Here we are, running from the police and the DSS inside the stadium, chasing us. We stuck to where they said we should stick to, and here we are. We are still being chased around in our home country like we are terrorists. We feel this should not continue. We don't know whether we are going to be picked up by them or not. I am asthmatic and I have been tear gassed, chased. I'm losing my breath. But we want to say that as Nigerian youth, we will not stop fighting for what we think is right.
Before we saw a new set of security vehicles that came into the front of the stadium there, and they started coming down from their vehicles. All of a sudden, they start crossing over to meet us, start firing gunshots at us. So at that point, we had to pack up, we start rushing. Everybody wants to escape with their life because it's gun they are firing this time around. At the point I was trying to escape, I fell into uncovered manhole in front of stadium there. After then, a colleague of mine was the one that picked me up and pushed me inside the vehicle. That was how we were able to leave that spot. We moved forward just to check on each other. Is everybody okay? Before we know, this same set of DSS and police people joined together, came in from one way of the other side of the road and attacked us again. After I got to the hospital, what they did was just first aid, but I'm asked to go and do X-ray and scan the leg because I don't really know what the condition is right now because of the pain I'm feeling right now.
Nigeria, they use computer. The leaders of Nigeria, they use radio where they turn the knob.